So Anna belongs to a group of 9 people, but David does not. Fine. I have 9 people. If Anna were to leave the group, their average weight would increase by 2 pounds. Now, look, it's, don't just read the statement and move on. Think about it. What does it imply? If Anna were to leave the group, their average weight would increase by 2 pounds. Why? Yeah, I had 9 people. Yeah, let's say, and their average was something, so my bars were all equal. Of course, in reality, some bars were smaller, some were greater, etc. Fine. So there were these 9 people. Now, when Anna leaves, let's say this is my Anna, yeah, when she leaves the group, what happens to the average of everyone else? It increases by 2. The other 8 people, yeah, think about this. So now everyone is, let's say if everyone over here was at M, now initially these people are at M plus 2 and Anna has left. Now, why did their average increase, their average weight increase by 2 pounds? From where did this 2 pound come? And where was this 2 pound before? When Anna was there, where was this 2 pound? So obviously, since deficit is equal to excess, and now the average has increased, that means that there was this 2 pound that each one of them had effectively, and they had given this 2 pound to Anna, because now that Anna's left, this 2 pound has been returned back to them, right? So these 8 people had these extra 2 pounds, that is 16 pounds, which they had given to Anna. So Anna herself had very little, and other people had given this 16 pound. And that is why when Anna left, the 16 pound came back to them, that is 2 pound to each of the 8 people, right? Which means that if my average was M, then Anna's actual weight was M minus 16. Are we good with this? Yeah. All right. Just let me see. Yeah, anonymous. Let's finish this question. Who is this anonymous attendee? Is it Tanvi? Tanvi, is it you? Yeah, Tanvi, you need to send the questions beforehand so that we can put it up on our screen, right? Otherwise, currently now they're not accessible to me. Yeah, but anyway, we'll take care of your questions later on. If we are not covering them over here, then I'll send you the explanation on the mail. Yeah. So for now, just let's focus on what we are doing currently. Yeah. All right. So then here we are, their average weight would increase by 2 pounds, right? All right, if instead David were to join the group, now there are these 9 people. Now, if David were to join the group, Anna's not leaving, if instead, right? So now I have another 10th person, the average would decrease by 1 pound. So forget this scenario, it is instead. So I have my regular scenario where I have these 9 people, including Anna. M is my average over here. It is saying that if David were to join the group, so if David were also to come, whoever, whatever David's weight is, I don't know, the average would decrease by 1 pound. So, the average goes down by 1 pound. It becomes M minus 1. So now think about it. And the average, so David also now comes over here, right? Your M minus 1 becomes the new average. Everyone is over here. The average reduces by 1. So now think about this. Where did this one of all these 9 people go? There are these 9 people, including Anna, right? Where did this one of these 9 people go? Obviously, David must have come with a deficit, right? David would not have enough. And then everybody gave 111 to David, and they gave this 9 to David, and then David came up to M minus 1. Do we understand this? Think about it. When David joined the group, the average decreased by 1 pound, right? So the average became M minus 1. So everybody lost this 1 pound that they had from M average. Now it has come to M minus 1. And there are 9 people who lost their 1 pounds each. Why? Because they had to give their 1 pounds to David to bring him up to the average as well. which means that David was 9 less than, not m, mind you, m minus 1, because David has come up to m minus 1 after getting 9 pounds, right? Which means that David himself came with how much? M minus 10. When 9 was given to him, David came up to m minus 1. Right? So this means that Anna's weight is m minus 16 and David's weight is m minus 10. So difference between their weights is of 6. So the answer here is 6. Yeah, this question, you visualize the question over, you visualize, how to solve it. There isn't any work involved at all. There isn't any calculation involved over here at all. Just think about it. And this is how we use deficit equal to excess, and that particular concept of deviation from mean to help us solve questions very quickly. Now, if you were to solve it using algebra, think about what you would do. All right. So you would say, if Anna were to, I don't have any particular values, right? So I would say, okay, so maybe Anna's weight is A. Then their average weight would increase by 2 pounds. So let's say initially, let's say that their average was M. So I have that, let's say the total was 9M, yeah, minus, if I remove Anna out of here, then the average reduces by 2 pounds. So divide by 8. And this gives me, let's say, M minus 2. Yeah, then if David were to join the group, so I say here 9M, including Anna, of course, plus David divided by, now there are 10 people. The average would decrease by 1 pound. This will be equal to M minus 1. And now I'll have to solve this to get my value of A minus D or D minus A, right? I, separate out the M out of both the equations, then I get my A minus D or D minus. Of course, it's doable. Obviously, I will obviously get the answer, but do you see how cumbersome this is? Yeah, look, it's not that algebra is going to be cumbersome in every question, in every mean question, but there will be some questions where it will be. And if I start visualizing, if I start using deficit equal to excess method, then that is never cumbersome. It only decreases the complexity. Yeah, you might feel that, okay, I have to think so much in this, and otherwise I can just make my equations and solve the equations. But it's a very look, GMAT is a conceptual test, right? The more you work at it conceptually, the better prepared you will be to answer the question. Also, you will take less time, and this particular concept is very useful in data insights as well. Yeah, because mean is a concept that gets tested everywhere. In fact, mean is a concept that sometimes does appear in CR quantitative kind of questions as well, right? Okay, so first of all, tell me guys, any doubt over here on how we solve this? Any doubt over here on our deficit equal to excess method? No worries, Tanvi. We'll take it over your queries later on. Yeah, don't worry. All right, great. So do you understand now that, David's weight is W minus 10, whatever, M minus 10, and why? Because when people gave 9 to David, then David came up to M minus 1. David does not have to match M. David doesn't have to come, the median, the mean is not M now, right? David has to only come up to M minus 1, because now the mean has gone down to M minus 1 for all of them, including David. So which means that David came up with M minus 10. Is that okay? Does it make sense, guys? Is everyone okay with this?